Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jan Loos and I am a marketplace art creator for Roll20. So if you're watching this video you probably already have an idea of what Roll20 is, or you have found this video by a very mysterious way. So Roll20 is an online virtual tabletop where you can play games like Dungeons and Dragons online in a virtual environment. But they offer their own marketplace which has beautiful artwork that you can buy, and then you can use those items inside of your game. Well, I make usually tokens, sometimes map items. So this is my name, Browse. Here we go. And today I would like to show you how I go about making my Roll20 tokens. So if you look at my Photoshop over here, I can show you the 3 basic steps to creating this artwork. So the first step is creating a cool character pose, and I use a special program for that called Des3D, which we go into a little bit later. And on top of this pose I sketch with a light brush. So if I remove it, you can see, of course I use some reference from the internet. I try not to copy characters completely, but I just take a little element of this and a little element of that. For example, the horns are very difficult to draw from the top of your head. No fun intended. And then after I finish the sketch, I will draw the line art and fill it with colors. As you can see here, I can open up my my layers over here. So this is the line art. Without the line art it looks like this. Also a little bit of shadow behind it, so it pops up from the background. And I add flat, let's see, so this hair. So first I fill it in with flat colors. Oh, let's get back the skin. So here you can see the artwork with just flat colors. And after I filled it with flat colors, I will add shadows and highlights. And sometimes I will add a different version with a different color. That's what the hue and saturation layers are for. So let's bring back the shadows on all the layers. That's it. And then we'll add back all the highlights on all the layers. There we go. So that's basically how step by step I create this token. But I will go into a little bit more detail. The most important program I use, without it I would have much more trouble creating this artwork, is Des3D. So that is what this first episode of creating tokens for Roll20 or for any other virtual tabletop will be about. So this is Des3D. You spell it D-A-Z Studio. And it's a free program, which is really cool. So basically everyone can just download it, but it has in-program purchases. So everyone gets for free the Des Studio environment and 2 basic figures, which is depending what version, but right now they keep coming out with different versions of their base character, and right now their 2 base characters are the Genesis 3 female and the Genesis 3 male. So let me get this Genesis 3 female so you can take a look on what this lady looks like. So this is basically a 3D figurine which you can use for anatomy purposes. Some people use it for creating storyboards, creating the base for their artwork, for like proper artwork, not just tokens. So there's some people just love to create 3D renders out of this 3D. For me, most important is to get a cool pose. So if you don't buy any of the add-ons, let me open up the Dash 3D website. 1 second. Go to the shop. So right here you can see this is the Dash 3D shop, and you can buy all these pieces of clothing, hair pieces, different characters that you can have on top of the base character, and yeah, you can get so much stuff for these characters, which makes drawing tokens easy and cool. I usually don't buy hair or clothing. I might do in the future, but right now I'm just using the base pose and I'm drawing on top of that. What I do buy, however, are poses to begin with, because I can make all these poses myself, but it's much easier if other people make it. So I'm going to select show all, and I'm going to select the 2 figures that I have. I've got the Genesis 3 female and the Genesis 3 male. And for genre I will choose fantasy, historical. Yeah, for now this is fine. So right here you can see a bunch of cool stuff that you can get. For example, the Saber Poses. So you buy a pack like this, costs $15, and you've got a bunch of poses that you can drag on top of your Genesis 3 female. So it has 20 poses. And it doesn't include the sword, the clothing, or the hair, or anything. It's just basically the poses. You can add it to your cart, you can pay with PayPal or with credit card, and then an installer will open up which will install it into your Dash 3D. So I bought a bunch of these poses, which I will show you. So some of them are really good for tokens. Usually about 3 or 4 out of the 30 or 20 poses are really nice for my tokens, and I usually tweak them a little, and they are perfect for rendering out my token. So let's create a good question. What shall we create today? I know that there's been questions about creatures of the Underdark, for example, drow. So let's make a female drow archer, and I will select the full body pose because they also separate upper body pose and lower body pose. I can show you. So this is just the upper body part that gets changed, and this is the, what does it say? Leo right? Leg right? I don't know. Arm right. So this, they basically split this up into 4 parts. You can only do the arm, left leg, right leg, but we want the full body pose. So this is our lady. This is basically how our token would start to render. I also bought some weapons, which makes it easier to draw my token. So let's see, props, and I want a bow and arrow. I think I may have scrolled past it here. Or I can just select bow. There we go. Bow and arrow set. So I can just drag it on top of my lady over here. And there you go. We've got a pretty nice pose. There's one thing that I don't like. That is that this hand over here isn't at the arrow. So I will try to do that manually. This can be a little bit difficult. So all these things are attached. So what happens if you drag a little bit of this arm? You can drag the whole body. And we don't want that. So to prevent that from happening, we can lock certain pieces. So for example, I would like to lock this upper chest. And now if I move this around, it will stay stuck. It won't move the upper chest and anything attached to the upper chest. So over here would work. Yeah, one thing I do realize at the moment is that she's basically drawing upper hand, which might be kind of cool, but it's not how usually archers shoot their bow. They turn this hand upside down and it goes about here. So, let's see. So we have to tweak it a little. So what we have to do probably is move this. You can also just move these parameters, which gives you more detailed control on your body parts. So for example, like this. This might be more like we want. So I want her to grab the arrow from underneath. I also think the arrow can move a little bit. So let's make sure that we do this properly. I know that there is a function where you can just move it along the axis that you're currently viewing, but right now the axis seem to be a little bit messed up. I'm not sure how to change that, because if you move it, let's see, this works. So we want it up on top of the hand. Let's see, forward, and it can also, you know what? I think we'll draw the bow a little. So this bow has a draw function, which is really nice. Let's see here. So we can draw it in. So the arrow can go back and pivot a little. Oops. Let's see how it looks. Usually I am on the pose and animate thing, but because I can only use a small part of my screen right now for the OBS, for the software that I'm recording this with, I will use this, else you won't see anything because it will be too small. So I'll just have to check a little bit extra. It doesn't really matter for top, because we're rendering the thing top down, but just to give it a proper feel, I will try to get it as accurate as possible. This looks alright. It can pivot up a bit. No. Yeah, this is what I mean. And then I will change the drawstring a little in Photoshop. So what we have to do now is we have to change this arm over here. We have to twist it like that. We have to twist this guy a little. Let's see. It can be a little bit difficult. Let's see. This has to go back. And we will just twist the wrist as far as we can. It's quite difficult, this posing, but if you do it a lot, you get the hang of it. I found sometimes I just take a day creating new poses, and after a pose of 3-4, I get the hang of it a little bit better. So let's just try menu a little. Here we go. So because I lock the shoulder, the whole body stays in proper place. If I wouldn't have locked the shoulder, I can show you again. The whole body starts to move when I reach the I didn't. I did the chest, right. The whole body starts to move if I reach a point where I can't get any further, you see? So we don't want that, so that's why I lock some piece of our body. So I think this wrist can... It has pretty realistic like constrictions of the body, so it's good that it is there, because else you will put the body in positions that don't look naturally. But somehow this guy should be able to twist further. Let's see. Twisty twisty. This is exactly what I want, but then this guy has to go backwards. This guy has to bend in. I think her shoulder might need to twist. You're getting there. So one thing that might help is if I twist the chest a bit. That gives her a little bit more room at her arm. This is pretty good. So she's kind of relaxing. She isn't pulling it fully yet. This hand should actually go under the arrow. So this might be a relaxing position to hold the arrow in. We can even draw it up a little. Oh, let's use the parameters over here. Yep. so she has a little bit more space for her arm. And then this whole arm can go back a bit. So I think that should come from out of the shoulder. Yeah, this is just a tiny bit of tweaking, but for the purpose of now, we'll just keep it like this. Okay, so if this is going to be our token, this looks pretty cool. Not perfect, but pretty cool. One thing that I do want to do is, because I want to see most of the character, like the persona comes from the head. So if she's looking down, we don't get much of that. So I always make my tokens face a little bit upwards. I'm a big fan of, basically the first guy who started making tokens for virtual tabletops was Devin Knight. And I was trying to, at first I was just trying to emulate him, creating my own tokens for my games. And then I thought, hey, I might be able to make something similar. Okay, this looks cool. The next thing I want to do is I want to create a little bit more dynamics in her feet. So I'm gonna unlock the chest so I can move the whole body, but I will lock the feet, both of them. So this way I can really easily make her sit squat, basically. So let's see, maybe this foot can go a little bit more backwards, and this foot can go a little bit more forwards. So I can, in the token, I can show a little bit of her leg armor or pants or anything like that, because other way it's just blocking that. Yeah, this looks pretty like a pretty cool start for a token. So what we want to do next is, well, this is going to be a drow, we know that. It's basically a slender elf that lives underground, is a little bit evil. So we want to give her body a bit more the shape that she's like maybe thin, lean. She already is really thin. I'm not going to do any body shaming here, but just basically the lore of the drow, they usually are, yeah, they are elves. So elves in general are a little bit more tall and slender and gracious, but these drow are also really evil. So I have bought a little pack of body morphs. So if you take a look at the shop of Dash3D, you can see that there are body morphs available, which allow you to change the bodies of the base character. So it's $20, and you can use it to make to really change the body of the character, the figure you're working with. So let's take a look. I should be able to see that. Is this? Nope. I think because, let's see. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. So this is the basic body size. So we want to make her a little bit taller. She can be really fit, maybe a little bit bodybuilder. Nope, don't want that. So you can also give her more weight if you want, but we don't. Yeah, I kind of like the fact that she's a little bit more thin, and she has to be really physical in that Underdark to survive and be stronger than the rest. So I kind of like how this is looking. We can also change breasts a little, because I don't like to use the standard package, so I always like to change as much as I can, but I do like to have some things that are convenient, like having having a pose to start with, and then tweaking it a little, having a figure to start it, and then tweaking it a little. So you can give her breast implants, which I don't really want. Maybe I want her actually to have a little bit less breasts and change the shape of them a little. So this is just trying and changing them. Right, very cool. So I'm really happy with this figure. And what I want next. So let me quickly save. I always have my a big list of things I save. Roll female archer. Boom. And next we want to give her a little bit more of an evil look, because right now she looks really sweet and innocent, but we want her to look badass. She's an evil being. Or maybe she's not evil, but at least she's been raised in an evil environment where people worship the Spider Queen. A lot of things like sacrifices and yeah, you have to be torturing, things like that. So she needs to be. She looks a little bit more like she's been through some bad things. So let's remove this, and then we can start changing her looks. You can use the standard emotions, which I don't really like, because I feel like you can get more emotion in it. And for the token, it may be not that important, but the way her brow looks can really change the expression of the token. So let's see. So the brows can go down, the upper can go up. They can squeeze a little bit more or a little bit less. Like there can be some tension, a little bit of tension on our face. Let's see. You can squeeze your eyes a little. It's funny because I'm on camera now. I always kinda, when I'm doing this, I'm kinda emulating what I'm doing. So. Boop, boop. No. No balloon. Dimple creases. That might be cool to have a little bit more stylized facial features. because right now she's still quite round and soft. So this is just giving an underbite or an overbite, or just making the jaw do silly things. We don't want that. Maybe you can add a little bit of anger. Squint. Yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily want her to squint, but I do want her to do some changes on her mouth. Can I order some shapes for lips? Because I'm not really happy about it. I wanted to have a little bit more thinner lips. I don't think we have that. Maybe it's still the mouth. I don't think I have that, but that's okay. So let's see if we can add some more details. I don't know what this does. Seems to be something happening at her nose. I kind of like this. So let's take a look around. And do I still have ears or some ears modifiers? I don't think I do. Nope. So I will just have to add that in. I still think she looks too sweet. Let's see the token. Token pose. I usually do her a little bit from the top, like this. Starting to get there, but I think she looks still too sweet. So let's see. It's kind of sassy to have one of them go up. So maybe something at the nose. Yes, that is what I'm looking for. The nose wrinkle. This really makes her more angry. Cool. I like that a lot. So this is basically how I would make my my token. Let's zoom out a little, make sure she fits completely. Cool. Then I will go to render and I will press render. This will take a while, so I will stop this stop the video for a second and then I will go back once it's finished rendering.